Join us today as we recast a modern remake of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Welcome back to Lobby Concessionals, the movie podcast where nobody's right and everybody's wrong. That's Brendon, and I am Parker. We're once again joined by Alison. Welcome back. We just couldn't keep you away, huh?
No, surprisingly.
Yeah. Well, we have not treated you well, so it's frankly amazing that you keep.
You can't see the ball and chain under the table.
Yeah. You can hear the clinking in the audio though if you max it up, you know. Anyway, given the release of the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, the Amazon TV show tomorrow? It's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We have decided that what we wanted to do was take a look at the original Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson and recast all the roles.
And this is also like a spin-off of that bad Reddit take of these movies being untouchable.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
We're here to completely debunk it.
Well, and like, okay, this is a fan cast, and I think it's important to mention, first of all, the way we're looking at this is that if there had to be a remake, and it was made, like, coming out 2023, let's call it. So it is, the people we are casting would be age appropriate now.
Yeah.
And would be able to fill these roles now. The other thing is, though, when you're talking about that bad Reddit take, the problem with fan casting in general is we don't have a budget. You know, like, we don't have to deal with the scheduling conflicts. We don't have to deal with budgeting. We don't have to deal with, like, real world problems. So if we bring in a whole cast of A-listers to fill 20 roles, including a main role that is in there for 5 minutes, that's fine because we can, in our world, afford to pay them all $20 million. So there is a little bit of this. Like, I was looking at my list.
I cast with a budget in mind.
You did?
A little bit.
Okay.
I figured, I think it was one of those things where I figured WB would at least throw X amount of dollars at it.
And they would.
And the roles I have, like, I don't have a lot of A-listers. I got a lot of B-listers, though. Like, mid A, lower A, high Bs.
I would call them A's just because I love them. The people I have on
That's
here.
fair.
But I also think, I think there's a good few people on here that would take a role that they know is going to define their career for cheap versus what they're actually worth. So I do think it would theoretically be possible. But again, that's just one of the list of concerns we'd have to deal with. So it's easy for us to sit here and say, well, this would be the best Lord of the Rings project.
I don't know. Amazon's shelling out like $1 billion, so I think we can afford our 20 people.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what that $1 billion matters. Yeah. You know, like if it actually.
Well, I
helps.
just have Andy Serkis coming back to play 20 roles. So.
20 roles, perfect.
Yeah, no cap for everything.
So we have 19 roles, correct? We basically decided what we thought were the main characters for the whole series. Mm-hmm. We noticed afterwards, after we had basically put these together, that Bilbo was an exclusion. So I've decided to explain that away by saying we just cast Martin Freeman and age him up as needed. But you know, for those that are watching, sorry, we missed. You know, forgot about Bilbo.
Oh. I think aging him up is a kind of nice callback too.
Yeah.
A callback to The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is
it immediately becomes the best part of The Hobbit.
In The Hobbit, the Frodo's in there too. So then, you know, if we start going down this rabbit hole of, okay, but wait, if Frodo was in there as Frodo, sorry.
All right, you know what?
This is too much.
By the end of the episode, I'm gonna have a Bilbo cast.
Oh, okay. Well, I will not. So don't establish this. Anyway,
Can I preface before we begin something?
Hit me.
Like, I love Peter Jackson. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so I thought this would be fun when you pitched the idea and asked me to join.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I've just been riddled with anxiety about this because that cast was so amazing. And it's just this perfect image in my mind that I cannot recast very well.
It seems like you're gonna cry just talking about it.
I'm getting
you
welled
know?
up.
Yeah.
That's my anxiety. It's just bubbling to my eyeballs. But no, so
I'm not crying. It's just pure anxiety leaving my eyes.
Yeah, it's unfiltered anxiety.
That's great.
Looking from me.
Yeah, so I did it. It was rough. I picked people, but I'm grumpy about things.
Well, and I think that's a great point, actually, is that as far as I'm aware, anyway, this series is universally beloved, at least in this room.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any issues with any of the cast for that original trilogy. So I think all of them fit those roles perfectly, or good enough that it didn't bother me anyway. You know, so I think the way I kind of looked at this was gun to head who has to play these roles. You know, like given, I don't think those movies need to be remade, but if they were, if we had to, if it was happening and I had a role in it and was like, okay, I can try and salvage as best as possible, here's the people I would pick.
I had the same problem because I thought it'd be fine, and then I immediately ran into like 3 I thought untouchables.
Yeah, there's a couple ones. I don't know if I would say 3, but there's one for sure for me that I had a really, really hard time with.
I'm assuming it's the first one we're going to talk about.
I think it is the first one we're talking about. So I don't know entirely how we'll go about this. I think we'll just kind of go down the list. I may have rearranged some things by accident. I can't remember, based on the list we originally had. So we'll figure out the order as we go along.
I guess the easiest way to do is to start with Fellowship.
So we're start with a 9, go from there.
Okay. So I think the first one. Oh, sorry. If someone really wants to start to lead us off, feel free.
I don't want to be the first out the gate.
I'm going to start us off with Gandalf. Who I assume is everyone's first pick. And so, frankly, I just want to make it clear as well. I'm not great at these fan cast things, but I want to make it very clear that I knocked this whole thing out of the park.
Just read your list and we'll shut it down.
I nailed it. Yeah. We don't even need to read your list.
Yeah.
Why are you guys here? So Gandalf, I think we should cast Ian McKellen.
Oh, wow. Revolutionary.
Is that a real pick?
Sorry, this was actually going to be my bit the whole time, is I was just going to recast all of them as the original.
To be fair, to me, he's easily the untouchable, and I had a hard time not recasting him. He's probably still do it. He could probably do it.
That's the thing, is he's the only person I have on here that I actually did maintain the role. And again, it's a funny bit, I thought, but also because I agree. He is the only one that I'm like, no, I could really easily see him doing this role still and it being true to the character, right?
We should have put some rules in place.
Yeah.
This is the only one where I broke the rules, right? Like,
sure.
This is it.
Yeah.
So my issue with... So I did the same thing. I put him in. And
oh my God, guys.
I had to. But
you didn't put him down?
No, I had him and I took him out. I'm the guy who changed it, and I'm the coward.
Yeah. But I did... When I picked Saruman later, I was like, oh, well, it can't be Ian McKellen against Saruman in this. Like, so if my Saruman's cast as...
And why is that? Is that an age thing?
Yeah, like, it wouldn't really make sense. Saruman's supposed to be older, wiser, right? Like, so it doesn't really work that Gandalf would still be Ian McKellen, and then it would be this, like... Not that young, but a little bit younger.
Well,
like Saruman. Like,
I mean, you could do the age thing.
Well, and even outside of digitally, you know, like Indiana Jones, you know, Harrison Ford and Sean Connery were cast as father and son, and Sean Connery I think is like 6 years older than Harrison Ford. Like it's not much, but they look convincingly like they should. Like they filled the roles of those characters. So I don't necessarily have an issue with the age as long as, you know, Gandalf is effectively timeless in the same way that Saruman is. Yeah. So as long as they're both old-looking dudes, I don't have an issue, right? Like, sorry.
I was just gonna say, so instead, like, so if I was like, okay, Ian McKellen can't do it because of that reason, then I put Viggo Mortensen there.
Oh.
Okay, I have a huge problem with that. No.
This is the stress you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to
immediately become clear that you were the problem.
Yeah.
But I was like, he has to be in it. He can't not be in it. This is Lord of the Rings. Like,
He absolutely cannot be in it, and
No,
he shouldn't be
Viggo
because
needs to be in this
he's
movie.
going to be like, I'm okay with a cameo appearance, but he can't be a main cast.
Yeah, he's
And-
my Gollum, so I mean.
Whoa.
No, I just. It's not. He's not.
No. But my point is that what'll happen is it'll tarnish the reputation. What we have is an untouchable performance for him as Aragorn in those first 3 movies.
Yeah.
If we cast him again in some other capacity in Lord of the Rings, the reputation gets tarnished. In the same way that I think Orlando Bloom as Legolas falls apart because he's in The Hobbit. Because those movies aren't as good, I'm like, well, and so
why
his
are you
performance,
casting Ian McKellen as Gandalf?
because he will slay.
As he always does.
Also, I do have someone else. Ian McKellen was the
you
joke.
wanna-
Choice.
So my actual choice for Gandalf would be Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, interesting. I have him somewhere else.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think Rafe, first of all, I think he gets a bad rap since Voldemort. Not a bad rap. Like, he's a great actor, but I think that he plays villains now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, first of all, he would kill it as Gandalf. And secondly,
He doesn't feel old enough.
Yeah.
but he
You
was
could-
he's
you could,
the
like,
same
yeah.
age McKellen was when McKellen played Gandalf.
Yeah.
So I absolutely think that wouldn't be a problem.
It's not bad. I don't hate it.
And I think he's refined enough to be able to play it.
He's refined enough?
You know what I said. You know what I
did.
said. But I think the other thing is the big thing for Gandalf for me was that he needs to be lovable. And he needs to be lovable. Like, him walking into the Shire, actively enjoying the fact that he's making those kids laugh, with the fireworks and stuff, obviously is what I mean. Just in case that was unclear. That's important. He's supposed to be a lovable, fun, loving wizard, and I think Rafe can deliver that. And I think that he's, got a little bit of jolly to him. Enough, anyway.
That's fair. I don't hate it.
Yeah. I tried.
It's better than Viggo.
Wow. Can someone come with the keys and unlock the chain that is here so I can leave?
She's just going to walk out of the
Yeah.
recording.
Just gonna cry.
What do you got, Brendon?
I have Bill Nighy,
Oh.
which
Yeah.
I thought,
see.
which for all of the reasons you listed, I think he would do exactly that.
Yeah.
I think Bill Nighy strikes me as too old.
I think you can make it work.
And I think my issue would be when he has to be in action sequences.
I want to see it though.
That
Yeah.
I feel like he always struck me as like a scarecrow looking dude, I feel like he doesn't have enough meat on his bones. He doesn't have enough bulk to him.
Yeah,
that
because Ian
he'd be able
McKellen's just swole as
Yeah.
shit.
No. But I just mean, like, I feel like I'd see Bill Nighy rolling around over there, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's just a twig," Like.
To be fair, I kind of had him as Saruman.
Oh,
But I kind of want to see him. Like, I think it's the about times thing for me, right? It's just like I think that would translate to a pretty good Gandalf.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it. Both are very good.
So I think what we can all agree on is that Ralph Fiennes was the best pick, and then we can move on.
You're gonna do this 19 more times?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
This is a nightmare.
For the record, though, I think if we do have a slam dunk, we should announce that. Like if we all agree,
Yeah.
I'm
okay with it.
I'm not saying we actually do have one here. In all seriousness, I think Bill Nighy is a great pick.
I actually think this was a tough one. I don't again with the untouchables that I had. I would have a hard time being a slam dunk, even if it was like a perfect casting, because it wouldn't be that original casting.
Yeah.
And Gandalf is absolutely one of them.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have next? I have Legolas, but
I have Aragorn next.
I did by like age of the first 4 for
That's a
some
very
reason,
Alison thing.
and then
so
like,
okay,
Gandalf, then Legolas, then
Sure.
yeah,
but
it
not
doesn't-
actually age that the actor should be.
No,
The age of the character, not the
the
age of
character,
the. Okay.
yeah. But and just the 5 adults of the Fellowship, adults in
Gotcha.
So-
quotations.
Personally, I would rather start with Aragorn just because Legolas is a little stuffed for me.
Sure.
There's a reason for that, and we can get there.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but it's not ideal because
He's also my iffy one.
I have two guys basically cast for Legolas, and it's the same two guys I have cast for Faramir. And
That's
my
weird.
no. My point is that I honestly think both actors could be either role.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd rather start with Aragorn. That way I have one that I,
Okay,
so we get this kind of rolling.
I got you.
Okay,
You want
okay.
to start? Let's Alison start with her.
Yeah.
We'll rotate it.
So after that amazing
Oh no.
Andor trailer,
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say your amazing cast of Vigo.
No.
I was going to lose it.
um,
I also want to cast Vigo as Aragorn.
well, that too. No, I think Diego Luna could do really well at
He
it.
could do really
And
well.
He's
if you
great.
look at his IMDb page,
Yeah.
look at it right now. He has the long hair in the photo. That's his main
We have
photo.
a cool thing called wigs, so we don't actually
I'm just
need.
saying, no. But if you're doubting my choice,
Sure.
you can look at that and you're like, yeah, that's Aragorn.
It's weird. It's I instinctively want to doubt it, and I can't.
No, right?
I doubt it a bit because of I don't know if he's rugged enough, and it could be literally a buff thing again, which I understand he can just work out for 6 months beforehand.
He's
I don't
small
think you
though. He
remember
feels like a small dude, right?
Diego Luna,
Yeah.
he does feel like a small dude. That's my issue. It's not that he needs to be huge. It's just that he should feel like a screen presence, and I feel like Diego Luna doesn't.
I feel like you're putting Marvel character buffness onto Lord of the Rings because they were not.
No.
ripped.
I don't want him to be ripped
Yeah.
like Captain America. I don't
Yeah.
want him to be Thor ripped by any means. But I do want him to have a screen presence,
But,
and I think Aragorn does. I think Vigo does.
Yeah,
And
I think.
I don't know if Diego
Have
Luna
you
can.
watched Dirty Dancing Havana Nights?
So actually, this brings up an interesting point. I'm going to ignore that.
I can't even.
Is it worth?
One into the wall?
Is it worth that we cast? We go through each of our cast of those three of them, Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, just because the three of them we'll have to compare them, right? Because that's my issue. Is that if you've cast someone huge as Gimli or Legolas, for instance, if they can't compare, then I have an issue with the screen.
You know what? I enjoy that. Let's announce our stuff in the pockets.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is your Two Towers trio, and then we'll do the Hobbits, and then we'll have to do Boromir separately.
Yeah.
I would say Boromir, Faramir together because that would really help my
Yeah.
cause.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, well then I don't know how I feel about that, but
I also really like my Denethor, to be fair.
I also
so
really
it's
like my Denethor.
Yeah,
so-
okay,
So
yeah,
we could just
we'll
do the
Boromir,
family.
Faramir, Denethor
Denethor,
together.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm enjoying
so
that
Alison,
now.
you want to give us your Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli group?
So I don't know how they would be together. And so I did think about,
Wow.
but no, because I've never seen them together, so it'd be a little bit more difficult.
Right.
So yeah,
Imagination just falls apart, huh?
yeah. So Aragorn as Diego Luna, Legolas as Regé Jean Page.
I do not know who that is.
He's the Bridgerton guy, the
This
one
makes
from
sense.
the first season.
Oh, here we go.
This makes sense.
He was just in The Gray Man as an American, the
Right.
agent.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been in a lot yet, but he's got he's gonna be in the new Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, gotcha.
With Chris Pine as the knight. Is it a knight? No, what is it?
I can't remember.
I don't know. He's in metal soldier uniform of metal.
Perfect.
Armor?
There we go. I'm too anxious.
Fair.
But anyway, I think he could do Legolas really well. And then Gimli I have as Jeremy Allen White. And so he is lesser known. He was in Shameless as Lip Gallagher, Philip. And then he's just in a new show called The Bear, and he's the main guy in that.
Oh, I saw the ad for that.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. It was great.
I have no idea who she's talking
Yeah.
about. So,
So like
A couple unknowns though. That's nice.
little lesser known. Yeah. So,
it's not nice for our viewership,
No.
you know.
Just Google.
Uh,
Jeremy Allen White though is young, and so I think it's a weird Gimli. I think that's my one that I was really not sure who to put in there.
Sure. I had a bit of a hard time with Gimli too. I did.
No.
Oh, yeah?
I think I might have the slam dunk Gimli.
Okay. As soon as you say
okay.
it, I'm gonna be like, yeah. Why didn't I think of that? But yeah, those are my three.
I'm not loving that. I'll be honest. Partially, I think that I like the idea of putting established people in there. for those roles in particular. And maybe that's partially because that's kind of what Jackson did. He absolutely did.
Legolas was not an established role.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom wasn't established.
And, like,
by then.
He was like
Aragorn was very indie flick. Like, Viggo's very indie
right,
flick.
but he had been acting for years.
And, like, no one knew who Gimli was.
Yeah, but you know,
Well, I mean,
John Rhys Davies clearly
amazing.
had
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like I'm just saying, I don't know.
There's no
I
way
don't know,
that's
the two
6
unknowns.
I think there's something to be said about if you're gonna do this movie again in 2022 that they would probably go all out.
Yeah,
For at
that's
least
true.
the 9.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, but they haven't with the show, right? So
Correct. And that's a good point. Yep.
And they are trying to do newer names, which I
Yep.
like. And I thought, and that is to me what Peter Jackson did. So I have
Yep.
to give him,
I'm not sold on that. And partially it's because I nailed it, obviously. So, you know, like it can't hold up to my stuff. But go ahead, Brendon. You give me your garbage.
Wow. To be fair, I kind of like the idea of unknowns, but I don't know those actors well enough to have a proper.
Yeah.
And none of your guys are unknowns, huh?
No.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay.
Aragorn, Idris Elba.
Oh, I have him cast somewhere else, actually.
Yeah, but that was.
I was debating. He's getting old though.
But I kind of want that.
How
Yeah.
old is Aragorn, Alison?
Like 85.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not
I
such a
actually
lovely
aged my trio up.
Oh,
My
okay.
trio is actually quite older, but you could make it so that they are fine.
Well, and I found my trio, I wanted them to be noticeably older than the Hobbits. I had a hard time
That's
with
exactly-
the Hobbits, so I needed the trio to be older than the Hobbits and to look older.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly my thing.
But the Hobbits could still look like adults.
Yeah.
You know, like should still be grown-ups. But anyway, sorry, continue.
So I had Idris as Aragorn, which I kind of love.
Slam dunk.
Mhm.
I had Tom Hiddleston as Legolas.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I debated, but
I think he's just good enough to do it. And I think you've seen Loki with the 2-dagger thing, and I'm like, that's in. We're in. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Is he a little bit older? Yeah, I think he's a little bit older. But I think again with
He's in line with your Idris, though.
yeah, and that's exactly it, right? And I was looking at them as a trio,
Yeah.
as opposed to just what's it called? Because you could Legolas is that one role where you could fall into the pit trap of just hiring somebody that really is pretty,
Right.
and I needed somebody to do more than that,
But I feel
or at
like
least I wanted somebody to do more than that.
Hiddleston is too, like, he's too much. Like, he'd need more than what Legolas has. Like, I'm picturing it as if, like, we literally take Peter Jackson's films and put the character in that exact
Which
like,
is
scene.
like effectively what we have to do until we have
until we have another
a script.
Yeah.
We fan make the whole movie, you know.
But like Legolas in the films is like he has fun, he does things, but he's very stoic. I find like he's very like look out across the horizon.
That's my part. That's the thing I like about Hiddleston, though. Like when I think about Hiddleston as Loki and stuff, I like him when he's more quiet and reserved, as opposed to the brash and the over the top thing.
Yeah.
So
He has the range to pull it off for sure. Now, you haven't told us your Gimli, and I want the two of them to have chemistry, and that is another big thing for me. So I'm gonna hold off judgment on Hiddleston until you give me a Gimli.
my Gimli's Brett Goldstein.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
for
Brett
the-
Goldstein,
from
Roy from Ted Lasso.
Oh, I love Roy.
I don't know if I see the chemistry there, and partially it's because obviously
Because
we've
you've never
never
seen
been
them,
together.
Yeah.
But
as Gimli by himself, I think he's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
sure.
I do really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And then and maybe it's not Legolas and Gimli the chemistry there, but like the three of them,
Yeah.
I think could work.
I like the Driss and Roy. I'm never gonna know his real name. I like Idris and your Aragorn
Brett
and
Goldstein.
Gimli, Brett Goldstein. But I don't know about your Legolas. I have a hard time with Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
Tom
fair.
is a little too big.
Too big.
I think that's the thing.
Okay.
Is
Like-
that he's massive now, right? Like I have a couple big names in here.
You think
but I
Tom's
don't
a
think
big name?
Yeah.
I think he is. He's in 2 of the biggest movies ever made.
Yeah, but everybody's in those movies.
Yeah, but a lot of people know a lot of those names, right?
Yeah, but like to me, it's what you've done outside of that, in terms
Yeah,
of
maybe.
he's not enough to carry a film.
No, okay. First of all, he's enough to carry a film. How dare you?
His talent is enough to carry a film. His name is not.
Yeah, no, that's
He does some amazing Shakespeare
Yeah.
plays. Like, actually, he would be great in 50 years to be Gandalf. Maybe
Sure.
not 50, but like
Yeah.
he's following
30.
that Ian McKellen
I
path
like
where-
the idea that he's
20
got the
even.
acting
Yeah.
chops to do it, but he's also got the physical stuff
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
That's where it is for me, because you have to have both of those things.
I think he would chew up the scenes. Like, I think he would have so much presence, it would be like too overpowering.
Yeah, and that's why
with
to me the Idris stuff is important, because
Yeah.
I wanted somebody
who could do it too.
massive
Yeah.
like that shadow.
Sure.
That's very true. Yeah.
So
Okay, well, so now that we're done with this garbage,
Oh, good.
now we have the winner. So obviously we're casting Aragorn with Henry Cavill. Obviously,
rough. I have him somewhere else
Perfect.
though.
Get out of
Perfect.
here with your trash.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
incredible.
It's not great.
That
No,
is
that's-
awful.
That's amazing.
See, that's too buff. He'd have to lose like 100 pounds.
Okay, not
of
100
muscle.
pounds. Calm down.
Oh yeah, he cannot.
Where do you have Sam Worthington now while they're at it?
Okay, Henry Cavill's actually a good actor. Don't start with me with your Sam Worthington garbage. He is actually very good. The other thing is him in The Witcher, when he's wearing armor, he doesn't come across as massive.
Yeah,
Now,
he does.
obviously,
Yeah, he
calm
does.
down.
Yeah.
He comes across as massive in comparison to other people, but he's not going to be with normal folks in this.
Yeah.
Plus, he can lose the weight. And frankly, he should. Henry Cavill is better than just a muscle-bound dude.
Sure.
And unfortunately, that's what he's been cast into. So, like, we're talking about a guy that builds PCs for fun. He should not be 300 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
No, he should be 300 pounds of fat, and then we would love him so much. He could be our Sam.
Is your Legolas like 6'10", 220?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
So my Legolas, I'm going to give you. I remember I said I had two, right?
You sure? Yeah.
I'm going to give you just one of them,
Okay.
and then we don't spoil the reveal for Faramir.
And then we can talk about it.
But we can talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the potential
I gotcha.
switch. Legolas, I have as Dan Stevens.
I do love Dan.
Dan Stevens from, for those that don't know, Legion, which was the Fox show. And
Downton Abbey. Thank you very much.
calm down. I know our audience. Don't start with me. And then he also played the Beast in Beauty and the Beast in the live action remake.
That's your audience.
Good lord.
I would bet
That's not bad,
both
though.
of those things are his
was
top 4 on IMDb.
In The Guest.
Yeah, no one knows what that movie
Go
is.
watch it.
It's a
It was
great
so
movie,
good.
but again, know your audience,
Right.
Alison. And
Downton
then he's
Abbey.
also in Downton
Yeah.
Abbey.
Hit me with Gimli.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are gonna die. Gimli, I cast as Hugh Jackman because I wanted someone that like I don't know. I feel like he's someone that would bite the camera, and I wanted someone that can get his mitts into it. Also, I wanted a hairy dude. So
What is happening right now?
Yeah,
no, that's
that
incredible,
was so
incredible.
rough. If you wanted a hairy dude, you should have done Pierce Brosnan or something like.
You would prefer Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
as Gimli versus Hugh
versus
Jackman?
Hugh Jackman.
Well, then maybe you
100%.
should leave this recording.
I don't know how Dan Stevens is getting on screen with all those shoulders in the way. I don't understand.
But he's supposed to be thin, dude. He's supposed to be thin.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh man, no, that's killer.
No.
Incredible.
No. I'd pick Brendon's.
Brendon actually did do a good
Yeah,
job.
It's like I'm only one trying.
I had a really hard time with those guys actually.
It was
It's tough. It's
those
tough
three were
to
tough.
to-
Dan
Yeah.
Stevens seemed like his slam dunk to
Yeah.
me. But
He's your best pick by far.
Ray Fiennes was good. Tom Hanks.
No, I mean with
Yeah.
the
Of
three.
the three.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of the
okay,
three.
okay.
He's not quite as pretty boy as I feel like Legolas should be, though. I don't
There's a
know.
little bit of that.
Yeah.
The other guy I have is more
very
pretty
pretty
boy,
boy,
and that's
okay.
my
That's your
hang up.
problem?
That's
So-
my problem.
Okay.
So
That
And you're right though. Like it's tough because you want to cast for the character, but you do have to cast as the three of them. You do have to.
well, and it needs to be chemistry between the group. There needs to be, and they need to be able, I don't know. I always loved the fact that Aragorn and Legolas feel like they have a history there,
Mhm.
and immediately you see these two, and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Especially because Aragorn doesn't really seem to get along with anyone.
Yeah.
And that's why I actually really liked Cavill, is I feel like he can hold his own as a presence on the screen, but also not have to be friendly with most of the cast.
That's fair.
And so and so much of that is just The Witcher is really what it is that he's proven to me that he'd be able to do a role like that simply from The Witcher.
He needs to be agile though. My
He
issue
could
is,
be, and
I
he
just
is.
don't see
He
it.
is.
No, not
he
with
absolutely-
magical ability.
But he is
he
on
has
The
no-
Witcher.
I
He is
know.
agile.
but like not as agile as because the whole thing with Aragorn is he's like a tracker. Like he runs across.
Yeah,
and
he
like
loses 50 pounds of muscle, you wouldn't have this problem.
100. He needs to be tiny.
Actually, man from Uncle, Henry Cavill.
He's huge in
He's
that.
still huge.
He's
yeah.
not nearly as big as he is in The Witcher.
That's fair.
But
But he's still very big.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
But I want him to have a screen presence. That's part of the point.
That's fair.
You know,
Yeah.
like I cast him because he is.
We're gonna have this conversation again because I have had Henry in my list.
Yes.
oh, you have.
Okay.
I do.
Oh,
So now we're doing the Hobbits.
The Hobbits. I guess
Okay.
I would start the Hobbits. Or is it-
You will start the Hobbits.
yeah.
sure.
This took a long time.
I had a hard time with that.
And I nailed my 4 actors and I kept moving them around because I think they were good enough to be any of
I
the
also
4.
did that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and then it came down to like breaking them up because again, you want your Frodo and your Sam, and you want your Merry and your Pippin,
Yeah.
and that's how I ended up breaking it down. My Frodo is Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna do this.
Yeah.
So upset.
You know, and I don't really have a specific problem with it, but not in terms of it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah,
I don't like it, and I wouldn't want it, but I can't tell you why. Like, there's no specific reason. It just feels in my gut wrong.
I think as a thing by himself, I think you might be onto something. But I think when I look at the 4 names, I'm like, I'd watch those 4, just the 4 of them.
No, I feel like you're the studio coming to me being like, hey,
Totally.
throw Timothy Chalamet
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, it's tough because
he's a good name.
I almost
for him.
had what's his name, Asa Butterfield here.
Yeah.
So who's your Sam? Harry Styles?
No, Harry Styles is my Mary.
I knew it.
I
I
knew,
knew
yeah, I was
he was
waiting.
You had to.
No, you don't have
I
to.
was waiting.
Allison's right. This is the studio
It's not.
coming to them being like,
It is.
okay, you need to cast Timothy Chalamet, you need
But
to have Harry Styles.
but-
they're the most popular teams on the planet.
But it is, and but I want it, and
I
the
don't
chemistry
want
is right there. So I have Tom Holland as Sam.
No.
I
No.
can't do it.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
and then I have Taron Egerton as Pippin.
I had
Oh,
Taron
no.
in and out of here a few times.
Yeah.
and he
So
ended up cutting
when
him, but
I see when I think of the 4 of them on screen together, that's where it works for me.
I hear what you're saying. I
Yeah,
It's so
I don't
bad.
like it.
I
don't
moved them
like
around
it.
because this started for me with Taron and Tom Holland as Merry and Pippin because I think those 2 would be hilarious together.
I think they would be great as like brothers or something in something,
Yeah,
but I can't have them not.
Tom, Timothy, and Harry Styles are all too big. Is my big.
but I
problem.
want them to be.
But they're you recognize their faces. Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to see these people as the Hobbits.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about like. But you want Hugh Jackman as Gimli?
Yeah.
I'm more okay with that, partially because his beard's gonna be there, and on top of
Sure,
that,
these guys will be 3 feet tall with big feet and some makeup.
yeah.
Like,
But
it's-
all you see is their faces,
I don't
right?
know.
Most of it. Oh yeah, you're never getting Harry Styles into this position as a Hobbit. It's always going to be like, oh look, there's Harry Styles. Like
I don't know that you will.
He's like one of the most popular singers on the planet. He's probably one of the most recognizable faces.
Yeah, but we're also naming 20 of the most recognizable actors on the planet. Like, I don't understand what the argument is here. If they're good enough, they're gonna be good enough.
Also, I haven't seen Harry Styles in enough.
That's fair.
All he's
That's
done
fair.
at this point is
He eats
Dunkirk.
that bun so well.
Yeah, I mean-
in Dunkirk.
And I mean, if there's anything that Mary does well, it's eat.
Yeah.
Well.
There's my argument.
Can you drink? Yeah. Like, we're
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quit it with your garbage.
good.
Okay. Frodo,
Yeah.
I have cast as Daniel Kaluuya. From Get Out.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little old.
He's not old. First
I
of all,
know.
he's the same age as the previous cast
Okay.
when he would be put into this film.
Yeah.
And he's incredible. And on top of that, he doesn't have enough facial or name recognition currently.
Yeah. As
He
Frodo,
is-
you said?
As Frodo.
Okay.
Because I think he's the best actor of the 4 I've picked. So I think
Okay.
he needs to be able to hold this.
He could do it.
Sam, and again from the point of view of acting prowess is why I picked. Because I moved these guys around a little bit. I had Taron Egerton here as well.
He is very hobbity.
Who, Taron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like
Sam I've cast as Lucas Hedges, who's most famous for his role in Manchester by the Sea. He plays the kid that oh God, what's his name?
Affleck.
Yeah, Casey Affleck is hanging out with, and so I think Lucas Hedges is.
There's an immediate age gap though.
Between him and Kaluuya?
Yeah.
No. I think it's 5 years, which is the same with Sean Astin and Elijah Wood. Thank you, man. I just can't get names. Yeah. It's not happening.
I got you.
So I don't think the age gap is enough of a difference. I understand that part of the problem is Kaluuya has been cast as adults, and he's been in adult roles.
Absolutely.
Now there is a little bit of a difference in society too. Typically, black men tend to be looked at as older than they actually are. So even though he's not even, I don't even think he's 30. I think he's 29. Even though he's not even 30 yet, people would look at him and tend to say, oh, well, he's older. So there might be a bit of an issue in terms of screen testing that, because of that societal bias, they look at the two of them together and be like, wow, Kaluuya's so much older than Hedges. And even though there's not much of a gap.
I'd have to see your Hedges, though, because I feel like Frodo should be, I think they're the same age in the books, but
sure.
I feel like Frodo should almost be smaller and meeker, and so that makes me feel younger.
Yeah, I think in my mind, I feel like you have them reversed.
Yeah, if you put
maybe
Kaluuya
I could see it. Yeah.
In the Sam place, and then
Mary, I want as Lakeith Stanfield.
You're just trying to find somewhere to put him in there.
I love Lakeith, and I want him cast in everything. But I also think it's hilarious because Merry and Pippin are basically just stoners, and that's what Lakeith is. And I think he'd be an incredible stoner hobbit. I also think he brings a gravitas and a depth to roles that you wouldn't expect, especially stupid roles. Yeah. Or sillier roles.
Well, like Atlanta.
Atlanta is the perfect example. Is that he brings a depth to that is far beyond his character really needs or deserves, or I don't know, and then Pippin, I picked Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things.
I knew you'd put him on there somewhere.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing Joe Keery, and I had bounced back and forth with Joe Keery, but I liked Joseph Quinn because he's got a little bit more of a maybe not.
He's not at all the hottest thing in Hollywood right now.
Weird.
If that's your argument.
Yeah, but Joseph Quinn, absolutely, he is hot right now, but he's not cast in anything else. So at this point,
it's almost like a studio went to you and was like, put the hottest thing in because he's not in anything else.
Comes out in 2023. The fact is he doesn't have enough name recognition. He just doesn't. So people might look at him and go, oh, that's the guy from Stranger Things. But my argument is without the wig from Stranger Things, people are immediately not going to recognize him. So there is going to be, he's going to be able to
almost like makeup makes a difference.
Oh my gosh, I mean, just accept the fact that
you cannot change Harry Styles and Timothée Chalamet's face.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to change Timothy's face. I wouldn't want to change.
What is your argument?
I also had Joseph Quinn as Pippin.
Pippin, nice.
Yeah,
okay, well that's a slam dunk then. So you've been voted down.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. That wasn't the argument. No. The argument that your argument is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I just don't I get it, Timothée Chalamet, he's cute.
It's almost like you don't want good actors in your movies.
I don't think Timothée Chalamet's that spectacular.
Which of those four was not a good actor?
I mean,
which one? Pick one, Brendon.
All of them. No, I love all of them. I think you did a good job. I think I'd move them around a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'd honestly,
but I think
this is the only thing on my notes that I've ever done in pencil because it was constantly erasing and then moving.
But I think that's gonna be if you do a half a decent job with your hobbits, they all should be interchangeable.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see it.
Maybe not Frodo and Sam. Your Frodo and Sam should be interchangeable. Yeah. Merry and Pippin should be interchangeable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know if I want to take a Merry and
put him
as
a Frodo.
Frodo. Yeah. Sorry, Alison. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. So my Frodo and Sam have been a little. I don't know what the word would be, but I chose them obviously because I know they have good chemistry. So it's kind of weird because I already know that they're good together, and then putting them into this thing basically as the same people.
Sure.
So I have Joe Locke as Frodo and Kit Connor as Sam, and they're both from Heartstopper. So
are they the leads in Heartstopper?
They are the leads in Heartstopper, and they are fabulous together. And they're super adorable. Joe Locke only has Heartstopper on his resume. He's never done anything else, so I liked that as a new name for Frodo. again, I think more new people. And then Kit Connor has Rocket Man and the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society. But he was a little kid. So Heartstopper's his first thing as like an over 18.
What I enjoy about your casting so far is that it's like you picked a whole bunch of people that are going to do a stage show for just you.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Which is great, I think. That wasn't a dig. I quite enjoyed the idea of it.
Yeah. And I am loving
like you didn't cast it all thinking of like a studio or making money in mind.
Or being successful in any way.
I just want to burn money
Yeah.
in a pile.
Okay.
Under the orc heads, I'll put all of the money for the production.
Okay. I love the chemistry. They're way too young. They're supposed to be adults. They're just small adults. And I think Sean Astin and oh my God, Elijah Wood. Thank you. I just said Orlando Bloom. Sean Astin and Elijah Wood can be adults. They are grown enough. I don't see it with those two.
So Kit Connor, I think, can be. I think.
Which one is he?
Sorry, he's my Sam. He's the redhead, so he's like a little more. Yeah. But I think Joe Locke is like he looks very young.
He's a child,
and they are playing high schoolers in Heartstopper, so I think it is a little bit
and
harder.
properly playing high schoolers. Like they should be high schoolers. It doesn't look unrealistic at all. In fact, if anything, I'd be kind of okay with them playing like junior high schoolers. Like they look small.
That might be pushing it, but yeah.
Hollywood junior high schoolers.
Yeah, exactly.
Considering the fact that Tobey Maguire was cast as a 17-year-old when he was 32. Yeah,
don't even get me started.
Yeah. Anyway, those are my two. If you haven't seen Heartstopper, watch them. They're great. Mary, I picked Amir Wilson. So he's in his Dark Materials, the most recent season. The Kid Who Would Be King.
Oh.
So he's a little, I'd say he's a little bit more serious, but he does do some funny things, and I think it would be...
Is he also a child?
They all fit together because they're younger.
And you have Joseph Quinn?
And he looks young.
He played Joseph Quinn is 30.
In Stranger Things. He's my oldest
but a high schooler that had been kept behind for a couple years. He's supposed to be like 21. And he looks it.
Well, she does need a babysitter.
No, I don't like it. I think they're all too young. It's my biggest problem.
I don't mind the young thing if all four of them were young.
Yeah.
But I actually don't mind that the hobbits could look younger or feel younger.
But then
I don't mind it.
Elijah Wood feels like a child. I wouldn't trust him with my...
I think Sam is the only one that feels like an adult to me.
Yeah, Merry and Pippin still seem like too goofy. Frodo seems like he's being looked after too much,
that's why I skewed a little younger as well.
Yeah.
My big thing with the younger is I wanted them to look younger than Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. Yeah. But I still wanted them to be able to present as adults.
Well, and I feel like I went younger with all of my cast.
In general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Jeremy Allen White, Diego Luna, Reggae John Page, they're all younger too.
You did go a little younger.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you kept a 20-plus-year-old Ian McKellen.
Yeah. 20-year older.
Older. Yeah.
He's a sage, wise, old.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind the younger, and I like the idea that you're just shooting for the moon with these guys.
Okay.
We're hoping.
What are we thinking next? Are we doing?
I think we got finished with Boromir.
We're doing
Faramir and Denethor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm super stoked about.
So I'm going to start with Boromir.
You just do all of them, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm starting with Boromir. I cast Richard Madden, who played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones.
Sure.
He's pretty cute.
Super cute, but also rugged enough that he can play that role. He's convincing enough to me that he'd be able to be a soldier that's been, basically on the front lines for years.
And successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. He looks the part. And I think that he'd be able to hold his own against Henry Cavill as Aragorn. So I think the match of the two of them is nice too.
Fucking act Henry out of a bag. Though.
Yeah. Circles.
Okay, calm down. You guys are rude to Henry Cavill.
No, that's
the guy's trying his best.
He's on my list.
I enjoy him as a person.
Faramir, and again, there's
Okay.
potentially
this
the
is
thing with
the
Dan
switchy
Stevens,
switchies,
right?
yeah.
So
Right, Dan
who
Stevens.
I've cast as Faramir here, and maybe be swapped,
Mm-hmm.
but who I've cast as Faramir is Ben Barnes,
Oh.
who is known. Alison, what is he known as?
Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
No, okay,
Jigsaw on the Punisher show.
He's the
Oh yeah, he's Jigsaw in Netflix's Punisher.
Yeah.
The other
Shadow
big
and
one is
Bone.
Shadow and Bone is his most recent, where he plays like the villain, but sort of not the villain.
Yeah.
He's like the
Anti-hero.
shadow guy.
Yeah, yeah. I forget what
He
his
literally
name
does
Yeah.
stuff with shadows. In case you didn't know, Brendon.
is.
I don't like him as Legolas. I like him as Faramir though.
I think he could pull off Legolas for sure.
Yeah.
But my general pick was I think Dan Stevens would be a better Legolas, and Ben Barnes would be a better
I also
Faramir.
just think it's just I think the Madden and Barnes as brothers makes sense to me.
I agree, and that's
Yeah.
one of the big things for me is I liked the fact that they were linked in that way,
Sure.
and that they were able to. I also like the fact that Ben Barnes comes across like he could be a soldier, or that there's the capability there, but he's got that pretty boyness that. I feel like Faramir should have as well. That is a little bit of a like, well, you're not quite as good as your brother,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And even just visually, you're like, oh, is Faramir a soldier?
Yeah,
Or was he
I got
just
it.
combing
Yeah.
his
I dig
hair?
it quite a bit. I dig it.
So I really like the mix. And then Denethor, I think the cast is good. I think the problem with it is age gaps.
Sure.
So I cast Jonathan Pryce as Denethor. So Jonathan Pryce is Elizabeth Swann's father in
right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
He's
He was also
the High Septa in
no
Game of Thrones.
the Sparrow.
The Sparrow,
or
sorry,
something.
yeah,
in
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Now, I have an issue with the Game of Thrones comparison just because he looks ancient in Game of Thrones,
Sure.
and he's supposed to.
Yeah.
He's not quite that old. He is old. Like there's a bit of a weirdness with the gap between him and his kids.
Yeah.
But that's
The way I've cast them, but I think Jonathan Pryce is great.
No,
that guy can act his way
I don't
out of
hate
the
it.
paper
Yeah.
bag
I don't.
for sure.
I don't
so.
hate it at all.
About the like overly aggressive behavior, though, I always see him as someone sort of
Even keel. And
or
But
like
as the Sparrow, he's
fun.
aggressive. He's literally
No,
torturing people.
No, but he's not aggressive when he does it.
Yeah, he's the reason that character works is I think it's because he's so calm about it.
Yeah,
But he could be.
well,
Right? Like,
but that's
he
the thing,
has
like,
the
I have
acting
to see
prowess to
him,
do it.
yeah,
Sure.
to
Oh,
do
yeah.
it,
I just
yeah,
want to see him
but-
eat some tomatoes. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All right, Alison, what do you got?
Okay.
I like those. Those
yeah.
are great.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
Now I'm like, I should take my Diego Luna and like Ben Barnes and put them somewhere together because I think that would be a good.
You don't
pair,
have
too.
Ben Barnes down, though?
I do not.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're a big Ben Barnes fan, though, so I knew as soon as I'd mentioned that,
I do love Ben Barnes, but honestly, I don't think I'd ever put him in here. So
even as Faramir,
nope, yeah, I don't like.
even
him.
though it's
It's
subjectively
weird.
the best call.
He's so clean.
It's almost it's like
He's
too
so big.
much.
Just
and
throw
I-
dirt on him, and he's
Yeah,
fine.
no.
You know?
I just even with Jigsaw he never felt grimy or dirty. It was weird.
Yeah,
He's
there's-
so
there's
clean cut.
Something about him, I just
I like
don't-
him a lot though.
Yeah,
I think that's
he's
fair.
sweet.
I think
Yeah.
that's
and I think
nice
he's a
pick.
good actor. Prince Caspian. Anyway, I have for Boromir, I have Alexander Ludwig. So he was most famous for his role in Vikings. He's great in Vikings. He was also in Hunger Games and Lone Survivor. So he's a pretty he's played a soldier and he's played a killer before. And then Vikings, obviously, he's unbelievable. Faramir, I have, and I always say it wrong, Domhnall Gleeson.
I think it's
Donald.
Donald Gleeson.
I almost had him there
Oh,
in that
that's
exact
nice.
spot.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So
That's because he's basically a mirror image of the original Faramir actor almost.
yeah. So he's been in Ex Machina, Harry Potter,
Peter Rabbit.
Oh God, don't even talk. To
But
me.
known for Ex Machina, probably.
Yeah,
that
probably
would probably be the
Ex
big
Machina.
one.
That
And
would
Hux,
be-
right, from the Star Wars.
Oh,
Oh,
Hux.
Hux.
That would
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the big one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in that. Hux. And then my Denethor was Sean Harris from Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Fallout. He played Macbeth in the 2015.
He's the crazy
yeah,
one,
yeah,
or
right?
Macduff in the 2015.
In the Mission Impossible films, he's the one that sets the bombs and stuff.
He's
Yeah,
the,
he's
in the
the
straight jacket when there's the sinking truck.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
He was also
That's
in
not too bad. I like
That's
it.
not bad.
He's got such an amazing voice, and I think with Denethor, that could be.
The
Really-
ages work nicely there too.
Yeah, I
he
think
would
they're-
fit nicely
And I like.
age-wise.
I
Yeah,
think
it's good.
Donald can excel, but also be sort of meek.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I can see him. And then Alexander's just like, again, watch Vikings. 'cause
I
he's
picture Donald
amazing.
and I picture a whip puppy, like in most cases,
Yeah.
as Hux and as his character next month. I don't even remember what his name is, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's worth keeping in mind for sure.
Yeah, so that's what. So I thought that was a good. Like, I think those three I was pretty stoked about. Like, I was pretty happy with those choices.
Yeah, I actually think those are really solid.
Yeah.
Because I really like your Faramir.
Yeah. yeah.
I really like your Faramir.
That's
So I cast. When I thought about Boromir, because I love Boromir and Faramir, but I cast them together. So like I needed to find a Boromir and I needed to find a mini Boromir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So my Boromir and Faramir are Henry Cavill and Jamie Dornan.
Yeah, I see it.
Right.
I actually,
especially Boromir, as being propped up as the guy.
Yeah.
And having just a mini version of him being sad behind him, it felt right to me. And then you didn't have to worry about Cavill acting in 3 movies.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you just get one and done.
Whoa.
Well, he comes back. And, yeah.
Whoa. Actually, now that you do mention this, for the record, I actually swapped Richard Madden and Henry Cavill multiple times.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure who I wanted where, and I eventually just settled on.
Yeah. So I just I love the idea of Cavill like being trotted around as a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dornan just having to fill those shoes afterwards, which
Yeah.
feels like a mirror life thing.
Yeah, a little
to
bit.
be honest.
Yeah, I like Jamie Dornan for that. I think he gets a bad rap because of 50 Shades of Grey, and he clearly hates it as well. But
He just needed a role.
But he is he's the hunter in the first season of Once Upon a Time, and he does a really good job.
This is what you're gonna sell him on?
Yeah.
Not Belfast?
You're like, oh wow,
Belfast
it's
as
not.
well,
No,
it's
man, he gets a bad rap. Let's pull up this other garbage TV show.
no, but it is a
Wow.
The first season was great. But no, like
It's defenders like you. Why does he need enemies? Like, holy smokes.
He's also like that serial killer in that show that I can never remember the name of.
Cool.
Which is really great and should be watched as well.
I have no idea what you're talking about, honestly.
Yeah, I forget, but he does do a really good job. Like I think he could do it really well. So.
And then my Denethor is Michael Sheen.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah, those would be my humans.
Yeah.
I love Michael Sheen.
Yeah, he's great.
I feel like I just forgot people exist.
I just think of him as like that dude from that weird club owner from Tron, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's Denethor.
Perfectly fair.
That's perfectly it.
Oh man, that's great.
So you'd have to age him up a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Just a touch
I don't
now.
even know if you
I don't know.
could.
I don't know if I'd have too much of an issue with that.
Because Cavill and Dornan seem young enough.
Yeah.
So
And his like David Tennant show that they do together, that they did through the pandemic, he looks like he's got more curly hair, a little bit of a beard,
sure.
like he's a little more scruffy looking, and I think he's aged well
there.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing? Elves next?
Yeah, let's do the elves.
Yeah.
I think Alison starts the elves. We're talking Arwen, Elrond, and Galadriel.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Yep.
Yeah.
This
was tough.
Yeah, I really struggled.
I feel like there are a couple slam dunks here, but
That's fair.
Yes, I'm into it.
I'm pretty stoked for my Elrond, honestly. Okay, let's. I'll start with Elrond. I did Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh,
if I said that correctly.
You didn't, but I couldn't.
I know.
I think it's Chiwetel, actually.
It's Chiwetel Ejiofor, isn't it?
Ejiofor, yeah.
I tried, and
You were close. You were
That's
close.
pretty close.
But I thought like after
He's great.
Doctor Strange,
awesome.
12 years, like he has that commanding presence. I think
totally.
he could
That's really good.
Nail it. And also I would believe that he fought in a war previously, right? Like, because we don't see it, like we get that first opening bit of Elrond fighting, but like most of the time he's just standing around chatting. So.
Yeah.
And he has this old grace about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
the
like
grace is really important for
Yeah.
sure.
My Galadriel, I had a hard time, so
She's tough.
She was one of my untouchables.
Yeah.
Because you could just recast her.
Yeah, and she'd be perfect. Kate Blanchett would be amazing.
It'd be seamless.
So I had initially put Michelle Yeoh down because I love Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
But I was thinking like Kate was Kate Blanchett was younger, and so maybe we need to start with a younger person. I'm not really sure. Like I was struggling with that age, so I ended up sticking with Gemma Chan.
Oh,
so Crazy Rich Asians.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, it is a great pick.
Humans is a great show if you haven't seen it. Yeah, so I thought like
she's also in Captain Marvel and Eternals.
Yeah, Captain Marvel and Eternals. And yeah, I think she could do evil well, but like the dark Galadriel well,
totally.
But also is just stunning and gorgeous when she's standing there. Still.
Yeah, the Grace thing again.
And I think and that was my thing too, because I think Gemma could have also been a really great Arwen. So like I was kind of struggling where to put. Sure. Yeah. But then my Arwen, I ended up going with Karen Fukuhara. So she is in The Boys.
The mute.
Yeah. And then she was also in the first Suicide Squad as Katana, and she was most recently in Bullet Train, which she didn't really get.
I don't remember her in that.
She's the lady that brings the cart with all the food.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So she honestly The Boys is her best.
Sure. But she's great in it.
Show, of how good she is.
Yeah, she is.
And also Arwen doesn't show a lot in these films. She's very run around, love someone, sort of thing. I wish she had more.
Sure.
But I think Karen could nail it. So.
No, those are great. That Gamma one is solid.
Yeah, I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
Gemma?
Yep. Gemma? One of the two.
Yeah.
It's when you get a G in the front.
Yeah.
Who knows, man. But no, I think that's your slam dunk for sure.
Yeah, that's
really
great.
Good.
That's gonna be hard to top. Even looking at mine, I'm like, I know which we can replace that.
Yeah, we can
crowdsource that. We can crowdsource that. Me?
Yeah,
me. This is where I put Rafe. Rafe was my Elrond.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah,
I get it.
And to me, we had a conversation off camera really quickly. I'm like, I just don't know how he would look with the makeup. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think he obviously the acting chops are there, but I just don't know how the makeup is gonna look out with him.
Long hair.
Yeah,
the ears and stuff.
Yeah.
It would take some.
It
would take some getting used to on my end. I think, but I think the acting is.
It's almost like he's known for a role that featured a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
But a lot of removal of facial.
Yeah, we're not taking
regardless.
We're not gonna get rid of Elrond's nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that forehead.
My Galadriel was again. That's tough, and this one I probably spent the most time on and took in and out the most, and I ended up with Rosamund Pike.
I do love Rosamund. I think that's a good choice.
It's not. I don't think it's as good as yours.
Yeah, I don't see quite the same grace there.
I just like I do because of the tall and the thing. Yeah. And she had a lot of it in Wheel of Time, for good or for bad. I think she had a lot of that. Those mannerisms.
If I could go back to her in 2005 Pride and Prejudice, she plays Jane, and she Galadriel.
Yeah,
that to
it's
me.
There,
yeah,
right? So I had a little bit. My Arwen is Elizabeth Debicki.
I know her. Why do I know
Tenet.
her? Oh, right.
Yeah,
she could be good.
Yeah, I think she's got the physical. She's got the weird elvish look to her as well. Yeah. She's quite unique looking. Shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that might be a good, pick for just someone on the up and coming team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not a name yet.
These ones, the elves were the people I struggled with the most.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
I picked Idris Elba as Elrond.
Nice.
So that's where we differed.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, you would cast Idris, right?
No, I cast
Who did?
Aragorn.
Aragorn. Thank
Brendon,
you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
My Arwen, I'm a little upset about, or not upset, but I don't know. I think you guys are gonna groan. But I'd cast Brie Larson as Arwen.
As Arwen?
Arwen. Yeah.
Again, I think that's too big of a name,
or
I think too big of a
big.
person, and too big of acting chops to sort of shove into
Arwen. I agree.
This 5-second love girl.
I had a hard time because there was a couple other people I was considering Anya Taylor-Joy, but then I think she's too young, in particular because I'm going to be making her make out with Henry Cavill, and I'm like, I don't like it. It's gross.
She's there.
It's gross to me. I don't know.
She's already boning the Skarsgårds, so
yeah, fair enough, right? Fair enough.
That Alexander Skarsgård and Anya was a little
rough.
A little rough. For the Northmen. So.
Anyways, that's my Arwen, but my Galadriel, I think I nailed it. I would cast Marion Cotillard, known in particular
she's-
from Inception.
She's wonderful.
as
I just don't
Dom's
know if
wife.
she's the physical presence I want in a Galadriel.
Oh, I think she could be. In particular, I would just
Yeah.
say just her performance in Inception shows.
The
that.
performance is
Range.
not an issue. I just think to me it's just like this weird tall. Lanky.
Oh, literally the
Yeah.
height.
Yeah.
Well, and like
Lifts.
super blonde.
Yeah, I mean,
but
lifts
she's
for sure,
got
yeah.
these beautiful dark eyes. Like I think she'd be really interesting to see that way.
I don't
Like,
hate it. I'd actually
Yeah.
I'd want to see it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she's phenomenal.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be. Yeah, that's good. That's a good choice.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Um,
So not a whole bunch of bad picks there.
No,
That
I
might have
think
been.
Yeah.
as much as we were worried about
Yeah.
it, I think we did pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the Rohan guys, and then we got Gollum and Saruman. So I guess evil guys and Rohan guys.
Yeah, what do you
What
want?
are we doing next?
Let's get the Rohan guys out of the way.
I think it's you
It's
next
me.
here, Brendon. So
Yeah.
you want to do them first?
Yeah, and my Aylmer sucks.
Okay.
Hold on. My Theoden is Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons is perfect.
Is for
I
the
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I wanted
that's
I wanted a
great.
strong presence. I wanted
Really
a
good.
guy with range,
Yeah.
all that stuff. My Eowyn is Daisy Ridley.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
This
it.
is where I would have put if you wanted Brie Larson. This is where I would have put her in yours.
Yeah,
Larson's Eowyn
I
one.
like
Yeah, I think she could
my
have given a little
my
bit.
other Eowyn better.
Yeah, but I like the Daisy Ridley part. I was thinking about
Yeah.
that I Am No Man thing, and
Sure.
I thought
Mm.
she would be great at it.
Mhm.
And my Aylmer is Tom Hardy. Just as a
Yeah.
as a big name that's not in it a lot, kind of just to be a presence and to give a little bit of a
Yeah,
Like I want.
it's a little strange that you'd make Eomer is the biggest guy on your cast by a lot.
yeah. I just wanted to like a roll up and kind of
Like that poor horse.
Tom Hardy could be a good like Gimli because he's got the
he was
sort of stout,
he was
like-
actually almost my Gimli,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't want him to take away from the other two.
Yeah.
No,
was
I
my-
want him now as Gimli. With those traps.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was my Gimli really early on before I landed on Brett.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
no.
fair, yeah.
And that's why I'm like, and then I hated the idea that he wasn't in my movie anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
and I'm like, well, where does he fit?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Jeremy
Eomer.
Irons, though, that's your
That's a great.
that's your
yeah.
slam dunk as far
That-
as I'm concerned.
yeah.
There. I put Gary Oldman as Theoden.
Ooh,
Oh,
also
yeah.
really really
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
I
Yeah,
think
also really really good.
he could do the transition really well.
Oh yeah, totally. Eowyn, I went with Alicia Vikander.
Nice.
Most famously known for probably her Tomb Raider, which
well, she won an Oscar before that, right? Like,
wait, did she?
Yeah.
For which? Was
Um,
it? She was also in Ex Machina.
yeah,
Yeah.
she won an Oscar for something prior to
did she?
Tomb
Yeah.
Raider.
Yeah, that rings a bell, and now I can't think of what
Why
yeah,
it
does
is.
I know,
Tomb
but-
Raider take over all of our memory of her?
Wow,
So
like it's her
upsetting.
starring role.
I
Is the thing.
know,
'Cause
but
Did she?
it's-
I don't know. Did she win for a starring role? Like,
No,
No.
yeah.
no, I don't think so.
So she's incredible. And then my Eomer, talk about the beefiest guy on the cast. My Eomer is Alexander Skarsgård.
Of course he is.
So he's also a really big name now. That like, he's. I mean, you have Gary Oldman, so obviously,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, your Aylmer is a much bigger star than your Eowyn as well.
Yeah. Well, and I like the idea of the two of them.
Yeah.
Like I think that they can both hold their own, and I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh, so hard. Because I think my other issue too is you don't get a lot of Eomer.
And that's exactly it.
And so like Skarsgård again, like it's so little for him.
Yeah. But I don't
To
mind
do,
like I don't
like-
mind the Nolan thing, having a guy come in, be there for like a split second.
Yep.
Yeah, and then run away.
And then-
yeah,
yeah.
and then be
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's yeah.
So I just watched Prey. So my Eowyn is Amber Midthunder.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
she
yeah.
is the main character, the star of Prey. She did such a phenomenal job. So I think she has the ability to be sort of reserved, to be the like in the background woman kind of esque that Eowyn seemed to be. But,
If you haven't seen Prey, she's also in
Oh,
Legion
Legion.
with Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
Nice. So.
and Hell or High Water with Chris Pine was.
Oh my god, I
earlier.
love Hell or High Water,
Yeah.
and I forgot she was in it.
Yeah. But she also is a badass and could totally take on Nazgul. So
Yeah.
happy with
that's
that.
good.
And then my Eomer, I really struggled with because I was
Yeah.
like, how do you not just have Carl Urban again?
And you could.
Well, and I kept hearing like his lines in my head and was just so, I was like, oh, this guy I don't think will pull it off as well. But I put Henry Golding.
I knew you were going to put that idiot in there somewhere.
Yeah, I had to. Crazy Rich Asians. He was just in the Persuasion, Last Christmas, The Gentleman. So.
I feel like he'd be... I don't know. He's too proper.
Well, he's a little bit of a pretty boy.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be your Boromir. Like, when I was doing it, I thought he was going to be your Boromir.
But I was trying to
Same
do
problem.
people who could relate to each other, and it was rough. Like families, right? And then Theoden, and this is where it
falls apart?
No, I think Henry makes a little more sense. Maybe not as much with Amber, but Henry makes a little more sense. And I'm going to butcher the name. I'm so sorry. Hiroyuki Sanada.
Oh.
We just saw him in Bullet Train. He does seem a little bit older, but I think he's
good
so...
enough.
Who else is he? What else is he in?
He was in Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically, anytime you need a Japanese guy with a sword, it's him.
Yeah.
He's in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. Twilight Samurai is a big one for him. But yeah, I think he's so powerful with saying so little, which I like about Theoden, but also can be angry if he needs to be angry, kind of idea. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Yeah.
And to finish things off, Gollum and Saruman. So Gollum is tough.
Gollum's the third untouchable.
I don't think it's untouchable.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis obviously defined motion capture. And I was definitely thinking about it, and I'm like, man, you know what they should do? They should just hire the guy that got to play Caesar in those Dawn of the Planet of the Apes movies. That's also Andy Serkis.
So funny.
No. Unfortunately, the problem with Andy Serkis in just sort of a general sense is that because he sort of defined what it means to be a mocap actor, he's the only one people think of now. So my pick is Doug Jones. Who isn't known for mocap, but he is known as a costume and physical actor.
I took him off my list because I knew you were going to pick him.
Yeah, you knew. So most famously, he's in every Del Toro movie ever. So he plays Abe Sapien in the Hellboy films. He plays the creature in Shape of Water. He's the Pale Man and the Fawn in Pan's Labyrinth. So he's a lanky dude. He's probably too large and too tall for Gollum.
You can fix that though. You got
the thing is he's going to be digital. Yeah. There's going to be some aspect of digital there. So the guy is so good with his body that I think he'd be the perfect stand-in and perfect next pick for Gollum there.
Yeah.
And then my Saruman, I kind of knocked it out of the park. I have two I'd potentially consider, but the one I knocked out of the park is Charles Dance.
Yo!
Same. Charles Dance.
Dang it.
Charles Dance?
Same.
No.
There was almost no other person.
No.
Well.
So
just wait.
So the one other person I would consider, first of all, Charles Dance is a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most known for Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. He can fill in for Christopher Lee without too much of a problem. The other person I put in here, and it's mostly because of his voice, I don't hate the idea of putting Keith David in the role.
Ooh. I don't know if he could do the physical stuff.
So the physicality is part of the problem. I don't know if there's really enough physicality with Saruman, though. Really, they have the one wizard fight, and that's pretty much it. And then it's a lot of him sort of brooding. And so I love Keith David's voice, and I think that the voice would be able to carry a lot of the weight.
Maybe we'll do Charles Dance
character.
with Keith David's voiceover.
Yeah.
Can you remind me Keith David is from?
A lot of things.
He's Goliath from Gargoyles.
Yeah.
He was in Requiem for a Dream.
Okay.
He played the drug dealer for what's her name?
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly's character.
Okay.
And I think that's probably one of his most famous roles, aside from the voice acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Goliath on Gargoyles is a big one.
Not a big one.
So, but he has been in quite a lot. But it's usually smaller roles is the thing. So.
Yeah. Okay. My Gollum, Jeremy Renner. I had to. I just needed him to be in there.
For those that don't know, Alison doesn't appreciate
Famously.
Jeremy Renner's acting ability.
I really dislike Jeremy Renner
so this is a
as
physical
an actor and as a person,
So
so I think his face is just so perfect.
You would cast him as Gollum just because you think he's a slimy person.
Yeah, and no mocap needed. Like he can just do it. He can crawl around
And eat raw fish.
eat raw fish.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, I did put Andy Serkis, and I think
Wow.
Doug Jones is a good choice, and I think really sure anyone could do it, but the voice is just so fantastic, and that's where Doug Jones, he doesn't talk a lot. He talks as Abe but like he doesn't have.
He talks as only the second Hellboy.
Yeah.
The first one they got Kelsey Grammer to do the voice.
Oh.
And so Kelsey actually stepped
David
back.
Pierce.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce, thank you. He stepped back and said, "This work is all Doug." So he refused to be credited at all on the movie, on the first one, and then they just went with Doug in the second,
Right.
because his performance is incredible, and it is.
Yeah.
So screw you.
So maybe Doug Jones does the movement and Andy Serkis does
he
the
can
voice.
do the voice.
We'll see. Doug Jones, send us a clip.
That'd be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, be on the show, man.
Yeah.
Like, we'd love to have you.
I follow him on Facebook. Maybe this is the time. Good old Facebook. And then my Saruman I put as Jason Isaacs. So
I
Harry
see it.
Potter, he's the voice of the
Have him
Inquisitor.
just step
in
from one to just
Star Wars Rebels.
Who's your Gandalf?
So that was if my Gandalf was Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, right, that garbage pick.
Yeah,
I
Jason
mean, that
Isaacs
works,
would be
though.
my
The
Saruman.
age works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
like
that's why you made This is why you made everyone so young, because you just shoehorned Vigo in as Gandalf. So you're like, we'll have to
The
bump
foundation.
everyone down by 10 years.
No, that's not it. Jason Isaacs, though, like I just watched.
Harry Potter.
No, well that. Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's super cute. I love it. And Jason Isaacs is in it, and he looks like
He's
older.
pretty evil in it.
No, he's great. He's super Irish too. Which I love. No, but he's older than I thought he. Like for some reason, I don't picture him getting older, and then in this movie, I was like, oh no, you are old.
He's getting
like,
on in years.
You
getting
are
older.
getting older, yeah. And like he's still handsome, and I love him. But I think he would just play Saruman really well.
He's probably like 50, mid-50s.
He's got to be this big.
Like,
Yeah, I got
because what? There's no way he's any younger than 30 in some of those Harry Potter films. And that was like 20 years ago.
honestly feel like he's pushing like in his mid 60s.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if he was. And that would be, I think, actually, Christopher Lee might have been a little bit older than 60. He's probably 70
Yeah,
so.
when
he
they
was
were
rolling
doing.
up pretty hard. Yeah.
He was doing Saruman. But so in
Yeah.
terms of similar casting, it's not bad age-wise.
Yeah.
It's terrible with Vigo, though. No, it's not bad with Vigo. But again, you bumping the whole cast down because you wanted to shoehorn him in is a problem.
Vigo's gonna be in it somehow. I'm gonna make him be a part of this
That's
He
movie.
can do that. He can stand in for the Peter Jackson cameos.
Yeah, maybe he can
Oh,
be
yeah, there
the
you go,
barkeep
yeah.
at the Prancing Pony.
Yeah.
Or we'll finally have a Tom Bombadil and we can put him as that.
That's the hill to die on.
Nope.
Singing through
And
the
you really
whole...
think that Viggo Mortensen would be Tom Bombadil?
Yeah.
He come back for that.
Okay, fine. He can do. He can be the Witch King. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Okay,
I don't hate
I'm
that.
fine with that.
I don't
I'm
hate
fine with that.
What if he was? He's my old Bilbo. There it is.
Oh, there you go.
Got him,
He
boys.
can be-
I like that better than Gandalf. But
Got him, boys. Yeah, okay. I guess so. Charles Dance.
Slam
I
dunk
guess
was the
you guys-
Saruman.
yeah.
That's
Okay,
nothing.
fine.
I had 2 for Gollum, and maybe I'll leave it up to you guys.
which one of them is Doug Jones?
No, I took Doug Jones off. Remember?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then, so that's the one we'll decide. Okay, episode over.
I had Dane DeHaan,
Ooh, he does have a
Okay.
weird face.
or I had Tilda Swinton.
I love
See,
Tilda
okay,
Swinton.
hold on, though. The problem I have with this is that both of those people, you would want to see their faces.
No,
I don't need
You
Dane
think-
DeHaan's face.
you think-
I don't want to see Dane DeHaan's
most
face.
of the time.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. He's an attractive
He is, but I
He's
don't
fine.
want to.
But,
Yeah.
but I figured this was a mocap performance, right? So
I'd
didn't.
probably do both, like a hybrid thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you think Tilda Swinton or Dane DeHaan would be okay with that?
Yeah, I think Tilda would. I think Tilda would in a heartbeat.
Well, and you
Really?
Yeah.
also have to sort of, like, let's say we get to a third movie with this casting that we've done. That Smeagol's there, right? So you're going to see Tilda or
Yeah, but
Dane.
not much.
Yeah, but it was good. It was a good moment.
I don't know if I love either of those, really. Like, I have some issues. And
Sure.
I think partially, again, it's because I've just always associated Gollum as a mocap
As a
performance.
mocap? No, I don't. I think I'd want as much physical as possible in my brain.
I get it. I think that's probably wishful thinking.
Yeah, and
You know, like...
I think with Tilda, I don't know if she'd be able to do that kind of movement anymore.
I don't know. I think she could.
I think she could have, but I don't know if she could do it now.
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
my
yeah,
problem.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I like the idea of it.
Whereas Dane, I'm sure he could go all out. And...
I also don't know if I see the... I don't know. I just can't picture Dane as Gollum at all.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's that big of a stretch.
Yeah,
Really?
shave his head
Yeah.
a little bit. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think of what I forgot that movie he's in where he's the weird. He's in the asylum.
Oh, that's the cure for...
Yeah, and I think his
The Cure for Wellness, I believe is what it's called.
yeah, and I just think of his progression in that movie. I'm like, it's there for me.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you like by the end of it, he just looks like fucking Harry from Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Goblin.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
I don't know. So...
Wait,
Sorry,
Saruman?
go ahead.
Did you give us your Saruman?
Charles Dance,
Oh, right.
obviously.
You guys were the same.
because I didn't even
Yeah,
have a backup at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like. Okay, fine. And he'd be good against Ian McKellen as Gandalf. So.
Charles Dance versus Bill Nighy in my movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it better than Charles Dance versus Ray Fiennes? I don't know. But
That's
you
pretty
know.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
Pretty good.
Or Viggo Mortensen.
No.
I don't even hate it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think
I do
I
hate
kind
it.
of like. I hate myself for not hating it.
Right. It's gross
That's
on you.
better.
It's great. It's great.
So final thoughts. Like, I was pretty stoked about this, but given all the vitriol I've received from the two of you,
I think you've been handing out way more of it than we've
Yeah.
handed to you.
I think it's just because I'm insecure.
Fair.
But I think her name is Sarah Haley Finn, and she does like basically. I know for a fact she does all the Marvel movies, but she does a whole bunch of casting for like most of Hollywood, and I do not envy her job.
I can't
like
imagine. Yeah.
doing this, holy smokes, it's hard.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it. It's like it's one of my favorite things to do, and I really enjoy it. It stresses me out, but I enjoy it.
especially like this many people, and I think again, if it was the original films and we're not casting based on like having to also reproduce what was great and well received, like it might be a little bit different. But yeah, I can't imagine casting this many people and doing it well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and then controlling for age, for relationships, for on-screen chemistry. You know, like it's, and obviously no one was sitting there going, casting is an easy job, but like,
Yeah.
wow, casting is not an easy job. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Can I stop this anxiety-ridden
Yeah.
feeling that I'm having over here?
Any other final thoughts? No, we're all good.
No, I think we're all right.
Yeah.
Okay, right then. So make sure that you cast Henry Cavill as Aragorn.
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah.
I am excited for September
Michael Bay's
2nd.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, I'm really excited for the new show. I'm excited to see the potential, and I feel like I'm just going to be disappointed, but I'm trying not to be.
Yeah. I can't wait for Saruman to rap Battle Galadriel. So
I can't wait for the credits
sorry,
to
Sauron.
roll.
Sauron, none.
I can't wait for the credits to roll and have you just yell in her ear about how shitty it was.
There's a historical precedent that I have to keep up.
And I'll just cry for so long.
Also historical precedent.